Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close at our new time, 3:30 Eastern now. 3:30 Eastern. Give us a little bit of more time before that bell. So, and as you guys know, my New Year's resolution is to be on time with the bell every day. So we're doing it. We're doing it. So Monday stream. We also have a Tuesday stream this week. It's that Financial Express thing. It's a Financial Express. You guys got me on my toes. It's going, and it is going to be going until you guys stop it. Until you guys stop it. Now I just saw a comment about sound. Let me just check here. Uh-oh. Let me turn the mic on. Okay, there we go. I have no idea what was picking up the sound before, and now I'm just gonna very quickly, guys, I'm just gonna make sure it is going through this mic because it might still be going through whatever you guys were hearing it go through before. Just give me 1 second here. Let's see here, audio. Yep, it's going through the right thing. It's going through the right thing. Holy banana bread. I clipped the mic on, but no, I did not hit the buttons. That's a rookie mistake. Holy. Yeah. I should be embarrassed about that one. That's for sure. But sound is up and going. So yeah, as I was saying, we are starting these at 3:30 now Eastern time this year. So it just gives us a little more breathing room before the bell. So it gives us a chance to look at the market and talk about things that are going on for sure. And today, of course, we've got a green market, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We still have the Financial Express. It is moving. Now, today we don't have to do anything because we've already got tomorrow taken care of. So right now, the way this week is looking out, market closed today, tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll open up Thursday. You know what? We'll do Thursday tomorrow. So on Tuesday, we'll open it up for Thursday. Also this year, guys, we're retiring the old goats. We got brand new goats. There are secret goats. And, well, you gotta you gotta find them. You gotta find them. There's a way to unlock them, and it will change for each goat. The first secret goat is there. I've given one clue. That clue is the number 5. So that might tell you something. Speaking of 5, we've got our New Year's resolution goat, which you guys have not seen yet. And that comes if we do 5 gifted or 5, or 5 supers, whatever. Oh, and that's a different 5. Although, anyway, I'm not gonna say anything at all. Let's just move on. And we'll move over to the market here. Let's bring it up. Oh, that is not the market. All right, let me see here. This over here, this is the market. And that's actually Tesla. But here we go. The TSX. Look at this. We're well on our way today. Definitely a huge day. We're up 1.20% on the day, so not too shabby. Now, there can be an argument. You know what? And we're deep enough into January that we shouldn't be talking about a Santa Claus rally. But by technical definition, the Santa Claus rally is the last 3 days in December and the first 2 trading days in January. Well, guess what? This is day 2. This is our second trading day in January. So this is feeling a little bit like we got a delayed Santa Claus rally. It's feeling that, at least on the TSX. But if you want to still say no Santa Claus rally, I wouldn't fault you. But it almost has a little jingle in its jangle. So we'll we'll leave it at that. But the TSX, like I said, strong day, up 1.22%. Loving it. South of the border, the S&P 500 up 0.71%. So a nice green day there. The NASDAQ, I've got to fix these for the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ, I haven't done its blue line yet. We'll get that fixed. I'll get that done for tomorrow. I meant to do that for today. I just got distracted. The NASDAQ up 0.82, not too shabby. Dow Jones having a good day, up 1.38%. And those little stocks, look at them go, up 1.66%. Now, part of the strength that we've been seeing in Canada on the TSX is, well, gold. Gold's having a good day. It's up 2.51 or 2.52%. Silver having an even better day, up a full 4.12%. And while the winner today in the commodities is copper, copper on fire today, up a good 5.09%. West Texas Intermediate oil up a bit, up as well, 2.09%. And crypto also having a good day. It's a good day for everybody. Everybody's having a good day. And here's the thing. One of the biggest questions, one of the most common questions I got yesterday on the weekend show was, U.S., Venezuela, is the market gonna tank? I thought there'd be some nervousness. I was thinking, this is what I said yesterday. I thought the first half of the day we would have a bit of red and then we would recover later in the day. I was wrong. Nobody cares. Nobody's caring. It's just strength right across the board. In fact, a lot in the US, there's actually a lot of people there that are banking on some of these oil companies. So that certainly caused a bit of a pump in the United States as people are saying, well, okay, some of these companies like Chevron are probably going to get some really big deals to build infrastructure down there in Venezuela. So there was a lot of movement in that direction. So definitely pretty good. All right, let's go to the heat map. We'll start with Canada. Let's get rid of the ad here. So our banks, the financial sector, just having a really good day. So as you can see here, we got Royal Bank up 1.42, TD's up 1.66. Look at BMO 1.49, Scotiabank's up a wee bit too. Power Corporation of Canada up a full 2.52%. So you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And of course, our mineral sector, definitely having a good day. Look at this, Barrick Gold up 4.08%. Cameco up a good 1.2%. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Where is London Gold in here? They're in here somewhere. They're in here somewhere. London Gold, hello, where are you? Yeah, I don't know. Well, Kinross is up 3.53%. Where is my London Gold? London Gold is in here, and I will tell you that they're up. Who is this? Oh, that's not London Gold. All right. Oh, here they are. Nope. Yeah, down here, London Gold. Oh, wow, they're only up 0.98%. That's why they got pushed way down. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty good day. As those of you who are channel members, if you've already watched the 0 to 100K update, you'll see that London Gold, they had a fantastic month in December. So they're still way up there. So anyway, those of you who are not channel members, that'll be available for you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern as usual. All right, let's go to the United States. Bang, boom. Tech, some tech not doing the best. Nvidia down 0.59, Apple down 1.34, Broadcom, look at that, they're down 1.13. Tesla, though, Tesla is actually doing a little bit better today. They're up 3.83%. And I'm pretty sure that's going to make Paul happy. Amazon up 2.75, Walmart up a wee bit as well. All right, and crypto. Crypto's just having a pretty good day. We got green pretty much across the board. Bitcoin up 3.33, Ethereum up 3.55. Look at XRP up 10.84%. That's absolutely awesome. Now it is tradition here. It's tradition to pick a coin, an altcoin, some obscure altcoin that is doing the opposite of what the rest of the crypto market's doing. All right, we're going to come down here and let's grab. Whoa, I actually saw a couple of really interesting ones there a second ago. All right, there we go. Let's grab. Ooh, this little bright red one here. We'll grab this one. We'll see what this here. Here we go. We'll pull it up. It is uh a pool lotto. What the heck is a pool lotto? It's like, we is it like bingo with pool balls? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, poollotto.finance is it's our crypto altcoin of the day. Now it is actually worth 50, almost 55 cents. So maybe it has a function. I don't know. Is it some kind of a finance tool? Don't know. I kind of don't care. But the thought of pool lotto is kind of funny. Um, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, pool lotto, it's our coin of the day. Guys, you got to be careful with all these coins. There's like 15,000 plus of all of these little altcoins. I tend to call them crap coins, not because they stink, though many of them do, but because it's like going to the casino. It's like playing a game of craps. Throw the dice. It's not in your favor. The house will win. Same with these. Some of these are rug pulls. Some of these just don't make sense. Some of these are fly-by-nights. There are some good ones out here. And if you do your due diligence and you kind of know what's going on, like the people who do make money on alts, well, what they're doing is they're usually the ones who are reading the white papers, who are following the social media of the alts, finding out exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, that tends to be the way they go. That tends to be the way they go. Um, yeah, what can I say? Anyway, guys, that is our coin of the day. If you want to make money on crypto, you can do it for sure, but invest in your big coins, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your XRP, Cardano, Solana, and heck darn it, even the Dogecoin is a safer bet than a lot of these. All right. Let's hit the big stage. Let's hit the chat. Who is in first today? It's Zenial with a good afternoon. Let's see. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Tech stocks got pumped and dumped. Just like Friday, Canadian Energy was on a massive sale. Banks were doing well, though, as a bit of a mixed bag loaded up on Utes and ENCL. Nice. Claude is in the house. Hello. XGD. Yeah, that's a gold ETF. So that definitely did good. Hura, HBTE, and COPP doing great for me today. So yeah, basically you've got, what's that? Gold, uranium, Bitcoin, and copper. They all did really well. So not too shabby. Scott is in the house with a good afternoon all. And we got Brian with a good afternoon, everyone. And we have Niece. Hello, how are you? Always love to see Niece in the house. Scott says, you're so quiet. Oh yeah, that's right. The sound. We had a small sound issue. But it's fixed. It was my own. It was a dumb issue. I didn't turn the mic on. So another mic somewhere, actually probably the mic on the phone, picked me up. And you were hearing me at baby levels. All right, Elaine is in the house with a hey all. And Dave saying better. Yeah, the sound, the sound. We've got Mary. We've got Mary in the house. And Mary's our official captain of the like button. So guys, if you don't want Mary to come in a little later and start giving you the stats on the likes because you guys are disappointing her, hit that button. It actually does a world of good for the channel. Like there's many ways you can support the channels. There's like a super chats and gifting subs and all of that fun stuff. But the bare basics is that like button. That like button is, it's a pretty powerful tool to the algorithm. So I appreciate it. And while you guys are hitting the like button, I get to have coffee. So I like that too. All right, a thumbs up from the crispy bones. All right, sounds good. Patrick's in the house with a hello, everyone. Hey, all from Bleak. Brian says, nice market overhaul, up 1.4% on the day. Yeah, pretty good day on the market for sure. Stan says, hello, all. Anchor saying, CNQ was on sale today. I definitely picked up some. Yes. You know, and I'm very bullish on Canadian Natural Resources. I think they're a great company. So they're one to dive in on when they're on sale for sure. Gursky says, hello, everyone. Why videos? Says XRP plus 11%, XRPQ ETF plus 17%. Nice. Paul says, are we early today? So yes and no. We're at the regular time now. So the time changed. So beginning in 2026, the market closes start at 3:30 Eastern instead of 3:45, just to give more breathing room before the bell. So right now, I've done all of the, we've done the preliminary look at the market and all of that. And I've still got 13 minutes before the bell. So I've got lots of room. Lots of room. So I like it. I like it. Gursky says, I picked up some ENCL this morning and it shot up later in the day. You gotta like that. You gotta like that. Scott says, Canadian oil companies are definitely not having a good day. Not as good as the US. Oil overall, yes, oil overall is doing fantastic. But yeah, there's of course this worry. There's worry about how this Venezuela thing is going to happen. Will the U.S. no longer need Canadian oil? But I'll tell you, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not like they're going to send everybody down. All of the big oil companies are going to arrive in Venezuela and have oil flowing in a week. They'll be lucky to have oil flowing in a year. So right now, I wouldn't be super concerned. Right now, it's more fear than anything else. All right, Paul says, if you had TradingView Premium, your watch list can be more than 30, but when subscription ends, you keep more than 30. But if you want to add a new one, you have to trim down to 29. Yeah, that's exactly it. A heat map of the cover call ETFs. Oh, is that what you want? I have a heat map of the ETFs. So here, let me pull it up. Let me show you. Let's go on back in here, and here's our crypto heat map. We're just going to duplicate the tab. All right, and we'll come in here. Products. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to delete that. It's just easier for me to redo it. It's easier to redo it. All right, here we go. Products, screeners, heat maps, ETFs. So here we go. So here is a heat map. Now, these are the US ones. Let's change that to Canada. All right, boom, bang, here we go. So this here is a heat map of Canadian ETFs. So here we've got, I wondered if I haven't really played a lot in here. I'm just wondering if there is a way to do just covered calls. That would be interesting. Let's see, asset allocation, fixed income, equity, and I think they're all mixed in here together. But yeah, I'm not seeing any way for me to really change it down too much. But we do have at least we do have the ETFs. We do have the ETFs. It would be great if I could actually, I wonder, and guys, maybe one of you guys knows. I would love something online, like a heat map that I could just basically pick and choose the ETFs I wanted into it. Because imagine if we could make a heat map of just our, we could make a watch list and have an ETF of just that watch list. I want that. I don't know if that exists, but I sure do want it. We will have to look. We'll have to look. I'll look and see if maybe I'll probably send AI out and say, go keep looking until you find it, or make it. I wonder if AI could make something like that. You know, AI can do a lot. Luke is in the house. Hi, all. I used the dip to buy ENCL below $17.75 and Propel Holdings below $24. Great buys on this new Liberation Day. Well, not for everybody. Not for everybody. But if you were looking for oil, yeah, absolutely. There were some good buys in there this morning. Why videos? Shopify had a good day too. Nice, nice. I have not looked. Let's take a gander. I'm kind of curious. Actually, here we go. I'm going to pull this over here. This is where this is supposed to be. All right, let's take a gander and see what Shopify did here. Oh, yeah, look, up 5.88%. That's not too shabby. But now, mind you, they had been on the downside too, so it's not as impressive when you sort of zoom out a little bit. like here, just zooming out here, you can say, oh yeah, well, they've almost recovered where they were at here in the middle of December. So, but nonetheless, still, it's a nice pump. It's a nice pump on the day. All right. Mark says, hey, Candace, up 4.5K for the day, but my ENCL down 1.5K and Utes down 500. So if not for Canadian oil and utilities, would have been a 6.5K day, but not complaining. Makes me, now that Mark is here, makes me wonder, what did MSTE do today? I'm kind of curious. Let's, oh, look at that, guys. Not too shabby for those of you who have been complaining about this one for a while. You're back up to 476. I'd love to see you back over $5, but that's a 6.25% move to the upside. I like to see that. I'd like to see this get a little higher. For anybody who is holding MSTE and is like, this is too much for me, I'd like to see it get back into the green so that some of you can get out of it if you want to do that. But let's see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Michael says, hello, Candace. So it turns out I sold Kraken too soon, but at least I have some Minto apartments, which soared today due to a takeout. Oh, okay. What happened with Kraken today? What is that? PNG? There we go. Kraken Robotics. Oh, boy. Up another 5. What is that? 5.0. Yeah, basically 5.01%. Yeah, Kraken's been on a tear. Like, look at this. Yeah, they're back up again. This is that one. I actually thought, so I had opened up yesterday, I had opened up the subscriber sponsored video. So that's basically a thing that when you guys want me to do it, I open it up. It just, it means that if somebody drops a $20 super, they can tell me to do a deep dive on somebody. And I kind of almost thought somebody was going to hit me up on Kraken yesterday. It didn't happen, but I had planned to do a deep dive if that had happened. So what can I say? All right. Larry, Dutch and French ships are being sent to red, white, and blue land after Trump was questioning Dutch authority over the territory. So, yeah, Greenland. Oh boy, I'm not gonna call it red, white, and blue land. I mean, but yeah, let's hope. Let's hope it doesn't happen. I mean, if Trump, here's the thing though, if the United States goes after Greenland, oh, I think that would just be another whole level of messy. It could even be messier than Venezuela. All right. Mark says, where do you think Canadian oil and utilities will go with the Venezuela situation? Well, initially it's fear. So initially there's going to be fear involved. That will, of course, yeah, that not so much utilities. I think utilities are fine, but it will definitely impact energy a wee bit. Now, if you have a utility company that also does pipelines, it might impact them a little bit too. Maybe. But for the most part, I think once we get over the fear and we have a bit of a reality check that, you know, right now Canadian oil still just as needed as it was yesterday for probably at least a year or more. I think that will help stabilize things a little bit. So right now, anything that we have seen today, it's more fear-based than anything else. In actuality, with the price of oil going up, we almost should have. Some of our oil companies should have been going up and not going down. So I think tomorrow will look a little better. The next day, even better. I think by midweek, definitely by the end of the week, I think we should have a full recovery on that. Paul, yes, a happy day today after 9 red days on Tesla. Affected my RRIF closing balance on December 31st. So my 3.13% minimum withdrawal is a little lower. Yeah, there we go. Wahipple says foreign mining had a ripper day today. All right, I was just for a second there as I read that and I'm like, oh, I should go look at foreign mining. I was like, wait a minute, what time is it? We got 4 minutes because I got that New Year's resolution to make sure I do not miss the bell. Let's look at foreign. All right, here we go. Foreign Mining Corporation, yeah, up 6.02% right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a big movement to the upside. Anybody today in mining materials, I think it was a good day overall. Foreign here, Let's see here. What exactly? So yeah, copper, zinc, gold, silver. There we go. You've got, well, gold did great, silver did great, copper did great. I imagine zinc did good today. I don't have a listing for zinc. Of course, now it says maybe I should have a listing for zinc, but yeah, not a bad day for foran mining. And I'm first of all, I'm gonna move the coffee to the side, put my hand on the bell so I do not miss it. All right. Scott says apparently Venezuela owes China a few billion and we're paying them back in oil. It will be interesting what Trump's plan is with that. Yeah, that is, well, that's going to be a thing, right? What will happen with that oil? Um, I I almost think it's hard to say. I mean, it really depends. I think Trump will probably weigh what can he get away with it. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That could be messy. That could be messy. I would say, you know what? If you want to maybe not have Venezuela be as messy as it could be, I would say give China their oil. If they're owed it, give it to them. But we'll have to see. And Mary's, oh guys, are you not hitting the like button? Mary's already asking for it. So yes, please hit that like button. Hit it before the bell goes. Hit it before the bell goes, because the bell is coming off here in about a minute and 40 seconds. All right, Larry says just for the next 3 days. Paul says the heat map for ETFs filter by 4% or higher. That will be Harvest Tesla plus 4.43%. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check out that filter. Yeah. I will play with that a little bit, Paul. Because I think that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. Or filter not by but biggest percent change. All right, Larry says, rumor has it a certain steel company will be securing all the steel in Venezuela for freedom. Oh boy, yeah. There goes the chances of us getting a relief on the steel tariffs, perhaps, but we'll have to see what happens. Mario, good afternoon, everyone. I picked up oily on the drip today. Nice. Tom says HBTE had a major pop. Awesome. Now, Tom, out of curiosity, did you pull a trigger on your Tesla swing? Did you pull a trigger? Because I know you got in pretty low. So I don't know if you got to your target or not. I didn't get there, but you might have. I'm not sure. Hippo says CPCC and Amex did pretty good as well. Absolutely. And guys, we got about 25 seconds left. Now, if you don't like loud noises, the bell's a loud noise. I'm gonna say it straight up. I know one viewer the other day said it bugs their cats. So I like to give you a heads up so you can turn down the volume. You've got 5 seconds to the bell, so it is coming. It's in my hand. It's ready. Here we go. The market is closed, and I'm 2 for 2 in January. Can I be 3 and 3 tomorrow? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right. Whew. Mario says, oh, and guys, let's go big. Go big me until we need the screen. Base ETF by Evolve might have a zinc mining company. Ah, yes. So Base ETF, that is a materials. It's a materials ETF that Evolve has. So not too shabby. Let's see, how are they doing, actually? The second I go big, it's like, let's go back to the, let's go back. Base. Let's pull up Base. So here we go. The Evolve Global Materials and Mining Enhanced Yield. So you are trading some upside, of course, but that's, if you like the income, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. I mean, this here is, minerals. Minerals. I mean, look at this. They're doing fantastic. And you mentioned zinc. I don't know if this little description down here will tell me or not, but metals and materials covered calls on 33%. Okay. And I'll tell you something like this. I like that they're only doing 33% of the portfolio for covered calls, because that leaves you 66% to pick up that pure growth. So that's always fantastic. So And they've demonstrated they've done really well. Oh boy, I wish I had bought these guys on Liberation Day. Look at this. Liberation Day they were down. They went as low as 1892. So yeah, it's a good ETF for sure. All right, Tom says thanks for the reminder, Mary, and that's all about the like button, guys. Rob says, has the printing of money begun in the U.S.? When is the official date? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when they're going to print money. But there's been lots of talk of stimulus, of these tariff dividends. So if they're going to print money and if this is going to go ahead, I imagine we're going to see it sooner than later. But we'll see how it all rolls out. You got to realize sometimes Trump will say he's going to do something and just never gets around to it. I mean, as far as I know, everybody's still paying taxes, but apparently the income tax is going away eventually down there. Brian says, I saw that China was annoyed because they had upwards of 60 billion in Venezuela and were being paid by oil. Also, they had people there for meetings with the government. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I can see China being annoyed. And also at the same time, they could be looking at it and saying, well, if they can do it, why can't we do Taiwan? So, I would watch Taiwan, and I know at least one of you predicted by the year's end Taiwan's going. I don't think it'll happen right away. China, no matter what you think of China, they have patience. They're a lot more patient than most countries. So I don't think I think they plan to take Taiwan, but I think they got lots of time. They got lots of time to plan it, and they're not in a hurry. All right, Tom says, didn't quite reach my mark on Tesla. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Boda says the U.S. already produces the most oil in the world now. Trump is trying to refill the oil emergency reserves. You got to remember something, Buddha. The oil that the U.S. is producing is light crude, and they can't really use it. So they can use a little bit of it, but for the most part, their refineries are mostly set up to handle heavy crude. So what the U.S. has done in the past, and before it was just with Canada, they would buy our heavy crude for their refineries, while the oil they're pumping, that light crude, they would be selling it. And the beautiful part about this is they're getting more money for light crude than they were paying us for heavy crude. So in a way, that it's almost like an infinite money printer for the United States. But now they're getting another source through Venezuela. So that's kind of part of the concern, part of the worry I think that people have had in the energy sector today. Oh, Rob says, when they stop printing money, is that when the stock market will crash? I don't know if they'll ever. I mean, no countries will stop printing money. Like, there's a certain amount of money that is printed every year that is basically, it's not really inflationary. It's more or less replacement, because bills are also taken out of circulation at the same time, like older bills. So the banks, when they receive a lot of older cash, a lot of that older cash doesn't actually go back out to customers. It gets destroyed. Well, it gets sent to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve destroys it and replenishes it with new bills. So there is a recycling. So there's always printing of money, but it's printing of excess money. That's where things get to be a bit of a problem. Brian says Russia was not a happy camper either. When is Russia ever happy though? I mean, honestly, Brian, when? Maybe if they win at the Olympics, but other than that, Russia's not happy anytime. I mean, the West this, the West that. Russia. Let's see. Brian says the U.S. has a concept of a plan to run the country. They have no clue what they are going to do. Only plan is to take the oil. Yeah. Well, just like if you remember back in the days with Trump wanting to get rid of Obamacare, and it's like, well, what do you have a plan for healthcare? And it's like, well, we have a concept of a plan. So, and we still haven't heard this plan. So, hopefully they're a little more organized when it comes to Venezuela. Tesla sold off in the last 15 minutes of regular hours. Oh, I did not see that. But that's, I'm here, that's why. I watched the UN meeting and Russia was all like, how dare you invade another country and kidnap their leader? Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, even no matter how bad the leader of Venezuela is, I mean, he did steal an election. I mean, that you can't really deny. Um, Actually going in and kidnapping him, that's a bold move. It's a bold move, and I can understand why a lot of nations are looking at that and saying, I don't like that. Because, yeah, it's a bold move. When will Canadian stocks trade after hours? Um, that's a really good question. I don't see it anywhere soon. I don't see it like something that's going to happen in 2026. So, will it happen eventually? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But, I mean, eventually, I would love to see the stock market, both Canada, both well, all of the stock markets of the world. I would love to see it all trade the way crypto does. Although I'll tell you, that'll be stressful. I mean, it's kind of nice now when the stock market's closed. You don't have to worry. Nothing else can happen to my assets today. So you have a little bit of a respite. But if everything is trading 24/7, you know, you could have 8 o'clock at night, something starts crashing, and it's like, no, I'm not getting a good night's sleep now. So yeah, I can see arguments for and against it, but I think eventually it will probably be 24/7. All right. They will never stop printing. Uh, Larry says, I need my check. Rob says, are you a fan of ARK K? So Kathy Wood. Kathy Woods, oh boy. I'm a fan of some of the things they hold, but I'm not a fan of Kathy Wood's ETFs, of the ARK. I don't know. The problem I have is that I don't have a lot of trust in the management. So, Kathy Wood, she's smart. She really is. But she's also a little bit of a flim-flammer, meaning that she will oversell the assets in a lot of her funds to get people to buy the funds. It's smart business, I guess, but I'm just saying that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kathy Wood, and for that reason, um, I kind of don't like ARK, but I do like a lot of the stuff they hold. If that makes sense. Rob says all of my Canadian energy stocks are in the red today. Yes, absolutely. Jonathan's in the house watching it 3 times. Oh boy, Jonathan, I can't do it. I could not watch something at 3x. It would be like watching the Chipmunks or something. I don't know. It's just, I think for once you go past about 1.5x, it's like it's hard to catch. It's hard to hear what anybody is saying. It's like it's just too fast. I guess I just like it leisurely. What can I say? Brian says that was me that said by the year end on Taiwan. I thought it was you, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't 100% sure. But I did think it was you. Okay. D-Hit said, great day today. Hopefully we have many more of these days in 2026. I would agree, though let's extend it to some of the other sectors as well. That to me would be really good. Whose oil is easier to refine? That's a great question. Well, for the United States, obviously it's going to be heavy for the simple reason that that's what they're geared to do, right? So, and re-gearing all of their refineries to do light crude, that would be very, very expensive. But the actual process of refinery, that's a really good question. I think it's really situational too. Like certain oil products could require heavy crude to make, like some plastics. So yeah, I don't know if there's a clear-cut answer, but obviously light crude is easier to handle. It's easier to manage. It might be easier to refine. But once again, like I said, it depends on what you're refining it into. Let's see here. Let's see. Investing on daycare learning centers in U.S. Okay, interesting. Brian, they still don't have a plan to replace Obamacare other than to cut off as many as possible. Yeah, there's no plan to to. And here's the thing. I mean, come on. I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity for Trump to put his name on something. If he would actually come up with a plan, he could call it Trump Care. I mean, why not? All right. I wonder if the U.S. has thought about kidnapping Canada's leader. I don't think so. Um, Canada, like, let's just go back here for a second. Canada has a lot more friends than Venezuela does. And I don't mean to be mean to Venezuela, but Canada's part of the Commonwealth. There's like if the U.S. ever attacked Canada for any way, shape, or form, there'd be the only thing the U.S. would have is that they would have time on their hands. It would take a while to get a world response coming in, whereas the U.S. sitting on the border, they would have this time, but. That would go, oh my God, that would be a messier situation. There's no way they could do it. There really isn't. There really, really isn't, because Britain wouldn't stand for it. And you might say, well, yeah, but Britain's in NATO. Well, so was Canada. NATO would pretty much, the U.S. would pretty much have to leave NATO, or NATO would have to be dissolved for something like that to even happen. I really think it's an impossibility, guys. I wouldn't worry about it. And I know I've seen people online going, please let Canada be next. It's not happening. It's not happening. Larry says investors only care about right now, not here, not 5 or 10 or 15 years from now. Blazy. Yeah. I mean, right now, a lot of investors, they're worried about, hey, how can I make money today? Ironically, though, the best way to invest is to sort of look ahead, look at the future. Especially if you're a young investor, that's really what you should be doing. You shouldn't be worried about the ups and downs of today and tomorrow. You should be looking at where are these companies going to be in 10 years, or when I retire. If you're retiring in 40 years, where are those companies going to be in 40 years? So, yeah, a lot of interesting things for sure. Rob says the smartest man in the world predicts that Bitcoin will reach all-time high in January 2026. I wonder if this will become a reality. Rob, who's the smartest man in the world? I need to know who that person is before I can really comment on that. Will Bitcoin hit an all-time high in January? It's not outside the realm of possibility. I don't know if I think it will happen, but if you look at Plan B is actually thinking, and maybe Plan B is your smartest man in the world, but Plan B is got some pretty aggressive growth possibilities for Bitcoin in the near future for sure. Scott says China won't do anything with Taiwan. It's already part of the PRC, and as long as the government in exile there stays quiet, they leave them alone. Yeah, and I don't think, like I said, I mean, they want Taiwan, yes. Will they make a move on Taiwan? I think so, but I don't think it's anytime soon. I think China's very patient, and Scott doesn't think it'll happen ever, and maybe Scott's right. I hope Scott's right. I would prefer, I like Scott's idea better than mine. In reference to Kathy Wood. Oh, yes, Kathy Wood. Kat says Trump has opened the door for anything goes. Russia will never agree to a peace deal. Why should they? Trump has shown you can create a fake narrative and just take what you want. It's kind of been, the motto there. It's kind of been the motto. Gosh, I really hope this kind of backfires. I hope that enough world pressure comes on that, the leader of Venezuela gets put back, but I don't know. I'm not super optimistic, unfortunately, but I think, somebody has to stand up to Trump, give him a slap on the hands and say, you can't do that. You can't do that, Mr. Trump. But right now, nobody seems to want to be able to do that. Let's see. The smartest man in the world is a Korean guy. That's all I know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? Guys, let's do it. This will be funny. We're going to find out Who the smartest man in the world is? We'll just go to Google. Yeah. Who is the smartest man in the world? Let's find out. Let's see. Well, here, this isn't really saying, this is giving me historical figures, but let's take a look at this. The 50 people in the world with the highest IQs. Let's see who number one is. Who has the highest IQ? Come on, guys, give me somebody. What is this? Nobody's giving me anything. Yeah, oh well. This was a rabbit hole that failed, guys. It was a rabbit hole that failed. Oh well. Darn it. You know what? It's because I should have just went to an AI. An AI would have given me somebody. But, oh well, what can we say? Paralovia says, swing trading Canadian oil stocks is just too much fun, except when doing tax returns. Yes. Yes, because if you're swing trading a lot, then you kind of leave the realm of capital gains and capital losses, and you go into business. Business income, business losses. It becomes a little more complicated. I mean, it's still straightforward, in my opinion, but it just becomes a little bit more taxy. We'll call it that. Is it just me, or are half the chat messages not showing in chat? It might be just you. Maybe, I don't know. I think as far as I can see, I think every message is showing. Restarting, probably a good idea. Zenial says the steam is freezing for me. You need a better water heater. You need a better water. No, I'm kidding. The stream is freezing for me. Well, hopefully, maybe you need a restart as well. Hopefully that resolves. Because yeah, if anybody else, if you guys are all having problems, let me know. Let me know for sure. Patrick says, "Wake up, people! Venezuela is now free of a communist narco-terrorist." Nobody. I think nobody is denying that he was a bad guy. He was a bad guy. Probably deserves to be in prison. Probably deserves what he got. It's just the legality of it. It's the legality of being able to just go in and take a leader. That's kind of what people are more or less upset about. It's not that this guy is a good guy. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that. And I hope he doesn't. I kind of hope he doesn't get returned. But the only reason I think that it would be nice to see him returned is only because there has to be a better way to do it. There has to be a better way. There has to be a legal way. A legal way. So what can I say? But 100% Patrick, bad guy, not a good guy at all. Martin says, Tom Lee had the Bitcoin prediction. Not sure about that title. Tom Lee, okay. Yeah, there's been a few different people. I know, so Plan B, and I don't even know what the Plan B guy's name is, but he's that guy that does the, the stock to flow model for Bitcoin. And he's always predicting some pretty high numbers though. So I always take it with a grain of salt. Sure, things will kind of conform to his models eventually, but not always. A lot of times he gets very, very bullish and sort of predicts some out there numbers that don't happen, but it still conforms to his model. So what can I say? Let's see, the messages you were showing were not showing in my chat window, but you were seeing them. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully you can see them now, Brian. Let's see. Rob said, Tom Lee predicted that Bitcoin will go to 250K by December 2025, and it didn't happen. But the world's smartest man said that Bitcoin would be all-time high in January 2026. 270. Oh my gosh. I don't see that. I just don't see it getting to 270. So, if you guys saw my prediction video, I'm predicting Bitcoin's all-time high this year is like 150. So I don't see 270. I hope I'm wrong. It would be kind of cool, but I don't think it's happening. Pronounced learning. You mean Buddha is pronounced? What's pronounced learning? I'm not sure what's pronounced learning. Scott says it's not about removing a Nadaro, it's about how it was done. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And Rory is saying, yeah, they tried the legal way, it didn't work. Yeah, but there still has to be, and maybe that points out that there needs to be, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like, where do you draw the line when it comes to sovereignty? So what can I say? Yeah. Patrick says there is no legality. He was illegally there to begin with. A message is missing in our feed too. Oh, that's weird. That is absolutely weird. Yeah, I don't think, like, right on my end, I'm seeing absolutely everything. So I don't think it's coming from my end. I wonder if there's some kind of a kerfuffle with her kerfuffle, not the other word. If there's a kerfuffle with YouTube, because that's weird. I do not know. But keep letting me know, guys. If you are getting weird stuff too, let me know. Scott says, so doing illegal is okay when legal doesn't work. I have an idea how I can get rich. Oh boy. Colombia and Cuba on the hit list as well. Well, Cuba's been there for a while. Honest mistake. Tom Lee is not the world's smartest man. It's Tom Smith. Oh, there we go. There we go. Brian says it seems like the messages are showing properly now. Okay, good. So just rebooting got you back in order. I like that. If the prediction by the world's smartest man about Bitcoin all-time high doesn't happen, he will become the world's dumbest man. Maybe. Well, a lot of people make predictions, though. Going back to Kathy Wood, she was like talking about she's always made some really outrageous Bitcoin predictions. Rory, this was also Chevron can go in and pick up where they left off. Let's see here. Yes, some people's messages are showing up on your screen, but not in the live chat. Okay, so they're showing up on my screen. So when I show it but not in the live chat. Here's another thing here. I don't. No, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say, yeah, I won't even go there. I can think of one other reason that it could happen, but I don't think that's the case, and I don't want to say it because, it might make you think, anyway. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, Rob. Let's see. Working says, it's a joke. Chill. How can you even possibly invest on a not-for-profit daycare? That's kind of funny. Let's see. I think there was a filter at the top of the chat, live chat versus top chat. Oh, that's probably what it is, guys. Yeah, there's like, let me see here. I'm going to I'll pull it up. So yeah, if you notice up here, you got top chat and there's a drop down and then live chat. So with live chat, all messages are visible. So yeah, so some of the messages with top chat may not show up, but yeah, so live chat. Guys, if you switch it to live chat, you might be good. You might be good. All right, let me just, I'll zip over here for now. Let me just get out of there because I don't want you guys to have to see that that little me tunnel that goes to, who knows, a singularity? We just don't know. But yeah, Martin, I think you hit it right on the head. And since we know what it was, I was thinking like, if you got blocked, so if somebody blocked you, you wouldn't be able to see theirs. But if I showed it on the screen, you'd be able to see it. But it's probably not that. It's probably that top chat. All right. Oh boy. Oh gosh. I'm glad, Martin. You are a lifesaver. Gosh, this is so good. Absolutely, really, really, really good. What can I say? So looking ahead this week on the market, I am, like I said before, I'm really thinking that we're gonna see I think we're gonna see green. I think this could be a green week. Even though I predicted a little bit of a choppy January, but it seems to me that the market, that phenomenon we had in 2025 where no matter what seemed to happen in the world, the market just decided to be green. we're kind of seeing it, at least in the start of this week. So it'll be interesting to see if it does turn around. Now, we do have, of course, rate decisions coming up later in the month. So that'll be something else that will start to play a factor as we sort of look at that. I think it'll, in Canada, it should be a pause. No ands, ifs, or bits about hands, ifs, or buts about it. I think it'll also be a pause in the U.S., but there might be some pressure, and it may not be a unanimous vote by the by the Fed. So that could be really, really, really interesting. So that is something that is coming up. And oh, there was something I wanted to show you guys. So I know every so often we talk a little bit about swing trading. So I do share. I share the trades that my swing trades with the channel members. So here is, and I'm gonna actually just give me a second. I'm gonna extend this a little bit. So this here is Extendicare. So as you guys know, I love Extendicare, and I will expand these here too. There we go. I'll explain these lines here in a second. All right, there we go. So it's actually holy banana bread. It's actually funny. So they have been in this channel now for a while. So Extendicare on the way down, but it looked like they were breaking. Looked like they were breaking down. It looked like they were breaking down, and we had this whole thing down here. So I was a little concerned that we were breaking out of this channel today. And in the challenge, in my swing trade account, I actually I had entered here at, what did I enter at? I don't know what I entered at. 2157, I think. Was it 2157? I think I entered at 2157. No, I wouldn't have entered at 2157. So it might have been 2057. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I think it was 2157. Because I entered down in here. So yeah, I entered around 2157, right about here. So I had planned to ride this back up, but it didn't start happening. It looked like we were breaking out of this channel. So sometimes, guys, and this is something that you might do. So today I saw a little bit of a pump, but even though it put us back up in the channel, I was kind of like, I need a reset on this one. So even though it was 2157, I'm like, I still want it to be green. I got to take at least a tiny profit. So I did put in a limit order for 2158, and it hit it. It did hit it up in here. So it got me out of this trade. But sometimes that's what you may do, like, because you will break out of a channel, especially the further along you've been in this channel. This right now, EXE, Extendicare, is ripe for a breakout. And whether it be to the up or the down, I want to point it out both ways, but it is definitely a breakout of this channel. So I just wanted to do a reset on it, give it a chance to actually break out of this channel and see what we set up next. So just a little bit of swing trading there for a few of you. Also for some of the channel members, because the channel members, they do get to see what I'm trading, what the swing trades I'm making. So I thought this would be kind of an interesting way to sort of just explain what I did today. Now, actually, the funny thing is this morning, I couldn't do any trading this morning because I don't know if any of you guys have National Bank Direct Brokerage. Their app was down until about noon. So yeah, it kind of kept me on the sidelines a little bit. But luckily, what I wanted to do, at least for this, that was fine. Otherwise, I probably would have got in on an oil swing today. So I wasn't able to do that because of that reason. I know a few of you guys got in on oil swings. All right, there we go. I just wanted to bring that up. All right, Paul says, remember the previous cycle, all of the pundits said Bitcoin going to 100K, but never happened. That's true. That's absolutely true. Heck, if you guys remember, if any of you are old school here and remember the old Crypto Night in Canada show that the dancers used to have, they even had hats that said 100K. Everybody was convinced it was going to 100K, but it didn't. It just made it to, I don't know, what was it, 63, 64, somewhere's in that area, and then turned around, went into crypto winter. So, everybody here, and I've heard a lot of people saying, yeah, Bitcoin is going to go to 200, 250. I don't think so. I would say, and with the 150, I think if it does get to that 150, there'll be a big sell-off. People will take profits, and then it will come back down. So I see 150 in this cycle as being the top. We haven't hit it yet. So that's the good news. The good news right now is, what is our all-time high at right now? 126, somewhere's in that area. So there's still room to go for sure. Buddha says America has forever stepped into foreign countries and done this. At least this time didn't take years of wasted money in people's lives. Yeah, actually, I will say one thing. Whether you're for or against what happened in Venezuela, it was impressive the speed that they pulled it off. That to me, that part was impressive. But other than that, I'm like, ah, boy. Paul says some say Bitcoin recovery is a fake out. It could be. I mean, that's the whole thing. Everybody has their models. Everybody has, this is what Bitcoin's going to do. This is what it says Bitcoin's going to do. But honestly, Bitcoin is going to do what Bitcoin does. It's not going to, Bitcoin's not going to sit here and say, oh, I can't crash now because this stock to flow model says I'm going to go over here instead. No, Bitcoin's not going to do that. I mean, it's basically, it's all about, buyers, sellers, psychology. Bitcoin will move the way the market wants it to move. Yes, it can be influenced by world events. Yes, it can be influenced by politicians saying we're going to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Of course it can. But it's still, in the end, it's going to come down to, and everything in stock, the whole stock market comes down to this. The reason a stock costs a lot of money is because somebody's willing to pay a lot of money for it. The reason Bitcoin costs a lot of money is because somebody's willing to pay a lot for it. But when people are not willing to pay a lot for it, well, what's going to happen? Obviously, the price has to come down. Supply and demand. It works that way. Now, the beautiful thing with Bitcoin, though, is, that limited supply certainly helps with the supply and demand part for sure. Rob says, so I wonder why Rocket Man wasn't captured a few years back when Trump was in power. Wasn't he a threat to the world, but yet he decided to become friends with him? Yeah, well, the thing about King or whatever you say his name, Kim Jong-un, or whatever. The problem with him is he's got nuclear weapons. And, yeah, out of all of the world leaders of countries that have nuclear weapons, he kind of, to me, he strikes me, and I could be wrong, but he strikes me as the one that that would have the higher chance of actually using one. So, there is that. And, depending on where your views are on Trump, you might be like, well, he is, he admires a dictator. I don't know. And that's just what, that's pretty deep left thought, I think. But it really boils down to, there's international laws, and you gotta respect them. That's all I say, All right, let's see here. Let's get to Scott. Miners did well for me today. DPM is my non-penny stock play on mining. Nice. That's Dundee Precious Metals, I believe. Let's see, but this time is different with crypto. I've heard that a lot. The only time it's been true is, well, when we got the US spot Bitcoin ETFs. Yeah, that time it was a little different for Bitcoin, and that did add a lot more liquidity to the market, and that certainly pumped a lot more market cap in. So, yeah, different, but at the same time, it's still the same basics when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it all. Obama did the same with Bin Laden. Well, Bin Laden wasn't really the leader of a country, though. But you could say, well, with Saddam Hussein, they did that. But at the time, they actually were in a war with Iraq. So, well, a war on terror, or a world, whatever they called it. Well, that one wasn't the war on terror. That one was, Desert Storm. Rob says, I got some BTC miners too. So BITF and Hive. Nice. Claude said, bought Celestica at $393 average price. Still waiting for the $450 price to sell. Takes longer than usual for them. Okay. Jonathan says, I'm all caught up. Candace seems so excited on 3X. Yep, That's me on like an espresso. Regular coffee. Turn it to 3x and this becomes espresso. I love it. It was also an excuse for me to have some coffee. Larry says 69,420. Okay. What is 69,420? I might have lost the context. Let's see. Bought gas this morning at 108 a liter. See where it is at the end of the week. Let's see. Steve Paikin had an interesting chat with Jim Basale on his podcast. I don't know either of them, to be honest. Steve Paikin, though, that name looks familiar, but I don't know him by his name. All right. Brian says YouTube wants me to pay $12.95 a month to be a premium member to watch at a faster speed. Yeah, no thanks. Well, you also don't have to watch ads if you're a premium member. That's the other thing about it too. Let's see. Jonathan says everyone has a plan until Bitcoin punches you in the face. Okay. True. It's like, yeah, Bitcoin's going to the moon. Nope. It's winter. That happens. Sorry. Yeah, that definitely happens. Why videos? Do you think T-Bank ETF is a pure play on Canadian banks? The allocation is actually, let's see, National Bank 30%, Royal Bank 24%, BMO 18%, TD 14%, CIBC 10%, and BNS 5%. T-Bank. Let's take a gander. Let's take a quick gander at how they're doing, first of all. TBNK, here we go. Whoops. I suppose I should actually bring it up. Here we go. All right. So this is your TD Canadian Bank Index ETF. So I'm impressed that they have National Bank in first place. So they're not at least they're not being at least they're not being biased on here. But I mean, the bank plays have all been really, really good. So is it a pure play? Well, as far as I know, we'd have to actually go to their site to make sure there isn't anything else they're holding. But I mean, it does look. It's not an equal weighting, of course. They're kind of hatching it on where they think. Well, here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing too. Why videos? Are these numbers because they haven't rebalanced it in a while? Because I mean, some of these banks have done really, really well, and it almost looks like. Well, other than no, that's probably not the case because CIBC has done really well. So then they would be a much higher one. So yeah, I don't know if it's a situation where they're sort of looking at who has the most potential in their opinion, at least in their management team's opinion, and they might be weighting them in that direction. So is it a pure play Canadian banks? Well, yes, it's all Canadian banks, so that does make it kind of a pure play, but it's not equal weighting. And obviously in this case here, you're going to rely on their evaluation. Now they are, these are people who are in the industry, so they probably have a pretty good idea. So yeah, I think it's okay. And also keep in mind, this is not going to have covered calls. This is going to be your straight growth dividend, 100%. All right, Roy says to stop ads, it might be worth it. Otherwise, nah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ads are interesting. I mean, I can't complain about ads because I get ad revenue, but yeah, ads are interesting. All right, let's see here. Rocket Man is not quite so close as people are not fleeing into the USA either. No, but keep in mind, I think it's hard to leave North Korea. I remember back in the day, a nice guy with the same name as Bin Laden had lost his job because Bin Laden was a terrorist. Ooh, yeah. It happens. There's been situations where somebody's had the same name as somebody on the terror watch list, and their lives have been absolutely wrecked over it. I mean, it's sad, but it does happen. Like, if John Smith goes out and commits a crime, imagine all of the John Smiths all of a sudden had a stigma. That wouldn't be a good thing. And it doesn't matter if it's a Mohammed Obaba or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't matter. Maybe maybe we need a better ID system. I don't know. Brian says the filter at the top of my screen was set to top chat, not live chat. Thank you, Martin. Okay, there we go. There we go. Martin did save. At least he saved Brian. Scott, when you said Rocket Man, I thought you meant Elon. When I first saw Rocket Man in the chat, I was like, are we talking about, and I wasn't even talking, you guys say Elon. I was thinking Elton John because he has that Rocket Man song. So at first I thought Elton. I thought Elton, not Elon. But yeah, that's funny. That is funny. Let's see. Maduro sent all his bad people into the U.S. Let's not forget another big reason to get them captured. Yeah, you see, and that's the thing. I don't know. I don't. That's one of those pieces of data that Trump throws around, but I honestly don't know how many may have gotten in if it's a situation. It's one of those things where I don't have evidence. I'm very evidence based. It's like, give me the evidence, I'm happy. When you give me a statement with no evidence, I'm not super happy. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm also saying that it did, that, it may not have happened or it may have happened. Honestly, I don't know. So I tend to, in anything where I get a claim, if I don't see the evidence, I just sort of take it with a grain of salt until I see the evidence. Then I'm fine. I'm fine either way. All right. Rory said, so did I. Deep dive NDA, dump before the SpaceX IPO. Neptune Digital Assets. I will tell you right now, if I did a deep dive on NDA, it's not going to be nice. I tend to be pretty nice. I tend to try to find the positive, but NDA, the one positive is they don't have a lot of debt. They don't have a lot of debt, but by gosh, when you look at what Bitcoin's been doing, what crypto's been doing, and then you look at what Neptune Digital Assets been doing, it's like there's a disconnect there. There is a disconnect. I'm like, ugh. And here, and I'll even show you guys, just so you don't think I'm I'm just picking on Neptune Digital Assets. Now today they had a good day. Look at that, up 6.73%. That's not too shabby, but let's just take a look at the last year. It has been a very steady decline. Now, maybe there's a valid reason for that decline. I don't know what it is, but if you know what it is and you're okay with it, then fine. But I just think, I don't know. Considering what Bitcoin has done, considering what crypto has done, I would expect to see this a little better. And we can go back. So yeah, I mean, there was this big jump, and then they basically tanked since then. And yeah, 2025 just not a good year for them. I think they should have done a lot better than this. Sure, this was the giant explosion of Bitcoin from crypto winter back here all the way up, and that was very promising. But then, yikes! It's this after the big jump. They shouldn't have fell that hard. They really shouldn't have. All right, let's see here. Brian says, I have an ad blocker. Save $12.95. There you go. There you go. Ian says, if that Venezuelan lady did not give Trump her peace prize, this would not have happened. I don't know. That's oh, poor. Well, Trump got his own peace prize. He got a peace prize in the end, just not the Nobel Peace Prize. Pakin had a longtime show on TVO and hosted the election debates. Jim Basile created RIM, also known as BlackBerry. Okay, so yeah. What was RIM? Something in motion. I can't remember what the R stands for, but I know the IM is in motion. All right, fair enough, Scott. Okay, Why Video says thanks. Rory says, all I know is Trump sure likes to ruffle the hornet's nest of world markets. He does. I mean, Trump, no matter what you think of him, he is very good at at creating a lot of chaos. That's for sure. Let's see. Paul says, no matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body. You can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman. Okay, well, that's, and that's That's, yeah, I'm not even going into that. Paul says, all right, marking Women's History Month. Why videos? Thanks, Candace. By the way, the asset allocation of T-Bank is based on the dividend growth of each bank. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I did not know that. All right. Rob says, anyone in here holding NWBO? It's Northwest Biotherapeutics, and they are destined for MHRA approval for their DC Vax L, what is this? Glioblastoma, so brain cancer drug. Oh, nice. That's interesting. NWBO. Let's take a look at them. I don't think I've ever looked at NWBO before. Here we go. All right. It's a U.S. company. It's also a penny stock. That's probably why I've never looked at them. Research in motion. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, I tend to be a little bit leery, even if they're on the verge of curing cancer. This is not really a curing cancer, but more of a drug to help combat it. But I always get a little bit worried. I get a little bit worried about a penny stock, because being small means that if things go right, sure, you can have some explosive growth, but when things go wrong, not so much. So yeah, this is one that I like what it's doing. Now, I'm always fair. I'm always fair. I like to go in to take a quick look at the behind the scenes. I'm not liking the behind the scenes, like return on assets, negative 304.44%. Not great. That could improve when they have their next earnings, especially if they are in an explosive growth period. But also, and here's the other thing too, and this is where looking at the scientific journals is not a bad idea. If this MHRA approval comes through, and if this drug actually does something, this could be something worth play money. So that's always something to keep in mind for sure. All right, we got more research in motion. Research. Trump is the gift that keeps giving. Yes, absolutely. NWBO has also been majority shorted by Ken Griffin of Citadel Securities and a bunch of other hedge funds, and has been sued by NWBO. The court is looking into this. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's interesting. It's not something I'm going to invest in, but maybe. And that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. There are people that will actually entirely invest in penny stocks. It's like they'll just spread their money across a couple hundred of them, hoping one of them hits it big. Will that happen? It could. Is it likely? Probably not, but it could happen, sure. I always say this, when you're looking at penny stocks, still hold them to the fundamentals. If you find a penny stock that does have half decent fundamentals, then to me that's a little, you've bettered your odds a tiny bit. Not a lot, but at least a little bit. And I like to play odds. All right, and it's discovery stage finding out about their illicit trading practices. If found guilty, there will be a huge, massive short squeeze. Yes, the good old short squeeze. I wonder if maybe this is a target for Wall Street bets. Let's see. NWBO has patients who have been treated and survived glioblastoma and still living 15 years later. That's fantastic. I love that. There's a lot of, we're on the cusp of a lot of really interesting cancer stuff. So I know some of you are like, that mRNA stuff is bad, but it really isn't. That technology is really going to open the doors to a lot of interesting cancer treatments, and maybe, and I hate to throw this other word at you, but maybe even a cancer vaccine somewhere down the road. Would it be 100% effective? No, but imagine if we had a cancer vaccine that sort of taught our bodies how to fight cancer before it starts. And even if that only protected 80% of the people who got it, that's huge. That could be huge. Now, there's, like I said, there's so much stuff we're on the cusp of. This is an amazing time to be alive, guys. It really is. Paul says, I just copied and pasted the Trump comment. Didn't notice the spaces were missing between sentences. Yeah, that's fine. Brian says, I tried chasing a few pharma companies that were in the clinical stage before. All never went anywhere, tossed with my miners doing core samples for the new mines. Okay. Scott, I was going to say Pot. Yeah, Pot just said, no. Scott said, I will do penny stocks on mining, but not on drug companies. Too much of a gamble. Yeah, mining right now is huge. So, if you research a mining penny stock, and they have some good fundamentals, and they got a good mine, you might be onto something, but at the same time, there is still extra risk just because it's a penny stock. Cat says H Bank is good, equal weighted, and a 9-cent monthly divs, 10.10 MER. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a fan. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Canadian financial sector for sure. Rob says NWBO is the only company in history to have obtained phase 3 approval. This is the last phase of testing before a company applies for industry-wide accepted drug. Nice. All right, you're giving a lot of great points, Rob. It's still, it's still risky, but it might be something that's worth it for some folks. I just want to, let's just say, I like to hedge my bets. And right now, they're not a company I want, but I'll watch them. I hope I'm wrong, Rob. I hope you're right, to be honest, because that would be awesome if that company does. If their drug makes a huge difference, that would be huge. Scott says, I just watched a video about a cancer vaccine using mRNA. There you go. See, it's not just me talking about it. Actaz says, got my first div of the month today, PDiv. Nice. Yeah, the next 60 div is due out pretty darn soon, too. Rob says, all right, NWBO DAX, or sorry, MWBO DC VaxL is not an MHRA vaccine. Stay away from mRNA vaccines. Rob, I know, like, I understand, like, mRNA, it stands for messenger RNA. I actually understand the way it operates, and I really don't think there's any concern there. But I respect if you feel like you want to stay away from them. That's fine. I think that needs to be a personal choice for sure, and I respect it. But I understand the science, and I'm really not afraid of them. I'm not afraid at all. But like I said, everybody needs to sort of make up their own minds for sure. Ian says, I was watching a Trump press conference on Right Side Media Channel. People in the comments would not shut up about med beds. People are, oh my God, the med beds. Yes. So those of you who don't know the med beds, there was somebody created this fake video of Trump supporting something called med beds. And there were these crazy beds that apparently were going to revolutionize and make everybody healthy, almost magic beds in a way. Anyway, Trump found it and decided to share it. Now a lot of MAGA thinks that they exist and that they're real, but oh boy, yeah. Oh, med beds. Rory, Bubbles finding shopping carts and restoring them and selling back to the mall. Now that's a gold mine, yes. Well, I remember back in the day when they first introduced those shopping carts that you had to put a quarter in them and then eventually a loonie. So many people would just leave them out in the near their car. They wouldn't get their money back. So I know as a kid, I'd go down to the mall and I'd just wheel them back in and get the loonie or the quarter. Initially, it was a quarter, and pretty fast it turned to a loonie because nobody was bringing them back for a quarter. That's probably why they went up to a loonie. But I used to get a little bit of pocket change from doing that as a kid. It was funny. Rob says, let's see, typo, not MHRA vaccine. I meant, all right, yeah, we got it. mRNA. Let's see, I did my penny stocks for miners back in 2019 to 2021. Nothing but small ups with every new core sample and a slow walk back down. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, Rob, you make me remember that Citadel was a big short of Shopify. I have no respect for them. They also like to make bearish reports to try to manipulate the market. It didn't affect Shopify long term. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that will do that. I mean, it sort of falls into that whole pump and dump, but kind of in the opposite direction. It does happen. It does. Like, imagine if you could put out a fake, if you put out a fake rumor. I'm not going to mention Citadel in particular, but if you created a fake rumor about a company to drive the price down so that you could buy, isn't that kind of as bad as an actual pump and dump? But it's still bad in my opinion. And Rob says yes. Kevin Griffin of the Citadel is a devil and famous for shorting stocks, spoofing naked, shorting, etc. Yeah, exactly. 2018, I was sure lithium was going to fly. Oh boy, yeah. And there's a lot. Like, I don't see it as much anymore, but I used to run into so many U.S. finance channels where they would be talking about, you gotta buy this stock. This is going to be the huge stock to buy for the future. And half the time it was all pump and dumps. There was so much of it. I think YouTube now is cracking down on them. I'm not seeing them as much anymore, but oh boy. Brian says some battery materials stock that went nowhere. Same channel had sponsorships from an online Ivo medicine supplier. Yikes, yeah. Let's see. I did do a day trade on a 10-cent lithium stock. Someone overtyped it on purpose and I cashed in. Yeah, that can happen. I mean, if you find somebody pumping and dumping and in the early stages and you jump in, you might be able to make a small profit, but the timing is just ludicrous. Like, with Weed MD, everybody thought that was going to go places back in the beginning of the pandemic. I got in, I got sucked into it. I'll admit I made a bad call. I got in on it and it didn't. It was a disaster until one morning when Wall Street Bets decided to make a play on Weed MD. Why? Who knows? I just happened to be there and I watched as Weed MD started to fly. As soon as I saw the way it was moving, I kind of knew who was responsible. I immediately got an order in to sell what I had. And I got very lucky. My sale got processed right near the top of this giant spike that they created. So I made a profit on Weed MD. And I was very happy. I might have been one of the only people I knew who made a profit off of it. Rory says, otherwise I got burned bad. The dumb days of quick trading in a TFSA. Oh, gosh. And Brian says, yes, I was busy working during the day and not enough time to follow and react quick enough. Yeah, and that's the way it goes. All right, guys, if you got your last minute questions, get them on in. We're at about an hour and a half, and that's normally how long we go. But if you got a couple questions and get them in right away, I'll still get to them. Comments, questions, salutations, all of that fun stuff. Scott says the mRNA video was by Amy Shira Tietel discussing conspiracy theories, if anyone's interested. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting technology, and people tend to be afraid of technology, and it's sad. Like, there's a lot of people afraid of AI. There's a lot of people afraid of mRNA. There's even people out there afraid of the polio vaccine. I don't know. I'm not like I am. I like science. I like science a lot. So I just want to, I'm going to put that there. I do have a background in science, by the way. Any of you who don't know, double major biology and chemistry. So I know a lot about science. I'm just going to put that out there. When you understand things, I find sometimes it's a little bit harder to sort of subscribe to conspiracy theories that don't really have the scientific backing. There might be some that do. I don't want to say that there are, there's no conspiracy theories that are true. There probably are some that are true. But when it comes to science, I always say do the research. And that's kind of the reason. Like, when you guys look at the way I approach stocks, I approach them in a scientific way. I want to see evidence. I want to see data. I want to be able to make a very educated prediction on where things are going, and that's kind of the way I treat it. But anyway, nonetheless, now I do have to quickly point out we got a super sticker coming in from Y Videos, and well, that's going to bring up our first goat of the day. Well, it'll probably be our last goat of the day because we're in the end moments. But that goat, by the way, guys, is going to get retired when somebody finds this first of the secret goats. So when the secret goat gets found, that goat goes away, and we'll have a brand new goat. We also have as well, I imagine we probably won't see the New Year's resolution goat until, well, if I open the doors tomorrow for the Thursday stream, maybe we'll get to see the New Year's resolution goat tomorrow. So that'd be kind of fun. All right, let's see here. Let's see, bread. I love bread. Scott says, if I don't understand something, I look it up. Yeah, absolutely. Research is your friend. Research is your friend. Like what I say, I always tell you guys, do your due diligence. Oh, and it makes sense because when you're investing, it's your money, right? You want to understand what you're investing in. You want to understand the real risks. But yeah, absolutely do everything else. Like in life, if, just because somebody who's popular says, oh, this is bad, well, I always say, okay, but why is it bad? What evidence is there for it being bad? So always look at the evidence, look at the big picture. Don't just sort of take the word of anybody, even me. Don't listen to me either. Do your own research. It's highly, highly a good way to go. And it's a safe way to go, especially in investing for sure. All right. Brian says RFK Jr. has all the answers. He researches in the Trump library. Well, RFK Jr. probably knows a lot about animal anatomy. I mean, he's had whales on his car and a lot of roadkill, all of that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. There are actually people out there that collect roadkill and do things to it, like, I don't know, cook it, things like that. I've heard of these people. I've never met them though, so I can't see that as being very very safe. That's for sure. Holy banana bread! Where is this stream going today? Where are we going? I don't know. But I do know this. I know we're going to be back here tomorrow. We're going to see what the market decides to bring. So it'll be interesting. Will it be green? Will we slip back to the red? Can energy recover? Well, these are things we're going to find out tomorrow as we do another market close. But guys, before I go, I do have